What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today in this video, guys, we're gonna talk about ThorChain. Dude, I love this. I love this protocol. This is like the sauce, man. It's literally like a banana that peels. It's that good. We're gonna go ahead and get into ThorChain. We're gonna show you where to buy ThorChain or RUNE, where you can buy it, where you can LP, how to play with this protocol, and a really neat, handy dandy tool that you guys can play around with to see how much gains you guys can be making in like a day, 2 days, 10 days, whatever. We'll show it to you guys all that and more in this video. Let's go and get into it. First is ThorChain. Well, ThorChain allows you to swap native assets for other native assets. So you can literally go over to ThorChain and say, bruh, I want to swap my Bitcoin for some of your Litecoin. And you're like, what? What is that? Well, all you got to do is do Bitcoin and you do Litecoin, and you can literally swap one Bitcoin for 350 Litecoins. I mean, sure, there is a little bit of slippage here because the pool size, it is a smaller pool, but the concept applies, dudes. Like, look at this. You can swap a native Bitcoin for a native Litecoin. That's the sauce. Like, you go on Ethereum, you go on Uniswap, you can swap some wrapped Bitcoin for like, I don't know, some Ethereum or whatever. Wrapped Bitcoin's trash, dude. Not financial advice. I mean, not like harping on BitGo, but BitGo is a centralized company. I mean, there's a reason why I'm in cryptocurrency, dude. I can go to a bank and I can get all my centralized trash over there and have me come back 3-4 weeks later just to tell me, come back 4 weeks later again to come get your money. No, I don't want to do that. In cryptocurrency, if I want my money, my money's there. 6 seconds, 5 seconds. It's like, boom, snap. What the pat? It's there. Let's go. That's what I want. Now, that is the importance of ThorChain. You can swap native assets for other native assets. There are several catalysts coming, but I don't want to flood you with that information. Let's just go ahead and explain the simplicity and the complexities of ThorChain so you guys can see how to use it and get these stinking juicy yields. Look at these yields, bruh. Like, dude, 86% on stables, 79%. This was actually like 140 the other day. Dude, like these APRs and APYs are like juiced. Like, what the snap? Okay, I gotta show you this calculator because some people be sleeping. They're like, nah, this is trash, this is garbage. Okay, we're gonna go over to Thor Yield. Let's just do a theoretical example. Let's say I have BUSD. It's earning 78% APY. And I'm gonna enter in at $1. And let's say I deposit my RUNE or deposit my stables in now, and $7.26 is the price of RUNE. Now, let's say I predict the price a year from now or 10 months from now, the price of RUNE is going to be the same exact price. And I'm like, nah, I'm just going to say it's the same exact price. Let's just see what the yield is. Let's see how much we will actually make if it stays the same exact price. Well, if we do the APY of 78% or 78.83, and we do it for a 10-month duration, and we do a $10,000 BUSD deposit, at the end of 10 months, we will have 16K. Hang on. Let that sink in. If the RUNE price stays the same at the end of 10 months, let's be even. Let's do 12 months. We will have almost 18K. Now you're like, nah, forget that. That's trash. ThorChain is going to go to 0, or let's just say it's going to go down 60%. Okay, that's fine. Let's see what happens when it's $2. You still make a profit. If it goes down to $2 from $7.26 and it goes all the way down to $2, like we're talking over 60% drop, you still make $1,260. Let's put that in APR, APY terms. Well, that's about 12 to 13%. Let that sink in. You can go on Anchor Protocol. I love Anchor Protocol. It's the sauce. It's like awesome. I love it. It's a banana that peels. It's amazing. But the APY is 19.5%. So that's the most you will ever make. That's the least you will ever make. Actually, you could do less. The most you will ever make is 19.5. And there's a chance that the protocol gets hacked. It's only 8 lines of code, so not likely, but there is always that chance. So don't throw that out there. And there is a chance that the yield goes down. So you're not guaranteed, but your best chance is you get 19.5% with Anchor Protocol. Your upside is limited. With ThorChain, your upside is infinite. Like, what if ThorChain goes to 1 million? Guys, I'm not saying it's going to 1 million. I mean, that'd be cool. But, dude, come on. Let's bring it into reality right now. At least for short term. Maybe in long term when they get the flywheel to where it's like, Bitcoin, RUNE, the bum. You guys get the point. So, look, your upside is limited on Anchor Protocol. Your upside is not limited on ThorChain. Now, there is a downside, and there is a chance of a downside. So let's see what the lowest is. Sorry, my face was in the way the whole time. That was terrible. So let's go to $1. What would happen if RUNE goes to $1 after 10 years? Or 10 years, 1 year. Well, you guys can see here, you will lose about $880. Okay, I mean, dude, that's if RUNE goes down about 75%. Now, that definitely is a possibility. But now let's look at the upside. Remember, guys, this is when you're playing with something like this, you do not want to throw any and everything at it. You can just play a little bit, throw a little bit about it if you guys are wanting to look into it and see what will happen. Not financial advice, but that's how you play in the markets. You aren't always going to be 100% right. You have to make calculated plays and calculated risks if you are trying to multiply the money. You can look at ThorChain like a tranche. I'll explain that later in the video so you guys can figure out different strategies. So now let's show you what would happen. Let's say, for example, ThorChain goes to $21. You literally turn that $10,000 investment into $27,650. Let that sink in. You almost triple your money if ThorChain does a 3x. So you still get exposure to the 3x and you still get that interest. Just let that sink in. Now, let's say, for example, ThorChain goes to $50. If it goes to $50, you will now have 40K. Now, that is only a 4x on your investment relative to the 3x. Obviously, this is where impermanent loss is going to hit you like a stack of bricks, whatever you want to call it. But still, dude, you 4x'd your money, and whereas before you're like, I don't want to do it. I got some stables. I'm going to go here and farm on AAVE and get 2% APY on my USDC because I like centralized stable coins and I like to play around with 2%. Okay, that's fine. You could do that. I'm not telling you can't, but I just want to show you this. Let's say, for example, RUNE goes to $100. Now, what would that be relative to market cap terms? Well, right now it's about $7. It's about a $2.5 billion market cap. So around $100 or at $100, the RUNE price is going to be around 20 billion or a little bit less. And if you put that in relation to like Luna, Bitcoin, etc. Luna is about a 40 billion. Bitcoin is almost a trillion. So as you guys can see here, at that point, you would have 5.5x'd your money. So now you guys are starting to see the power of ThorChain. This is within a year. Now let's just say a month. Dude, within a month, you can 3x your money if it, okay, that's if it goes to 100. Like, I'm not saying that's likely. That's a big gain. So let's just say it goes down. You still make money. If it goes from $7.26 to $7, you still make $310 or $311. I just wanted to show you this calculator so you guys can understand like what you need to be looking at. Remember, you have that impermanent loss protection after 100 days. So that's a little math tool you guys can play around with. It's actually Thor Yield. You can actually catch this just by typing in Thor. Well, I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can check it out. So anyways, let's go ahead and go to the pools. Now that you guys see the power of ThorChain, now that you guys are kind of grasping the concept. How does RUNE get its valuations? Well, I've made a full tweet on this. If you guys want to check it out. Yes, guys, I listened. It's dark mode now. Dark mode. So chill out. It's okay. I won't blind you. Bam! I'm just kidding. Anyways, what if there is a way to sidestep the exchanges for native assets, not the wrap centralized junk, but the actual way to get native assets? Would you believe me? This is where ThorChain comes into play. I made a full video on this as well, so you guys can check it out. This is explaining it. So if you guys want to look into like the nitty gritty and understand a little more on ThorChain, make sure you guys watch that video to understand the complexity and intricacies to it. This is more so like how to use ThorSwap, how to get the yield, and why the yield's important in some other strategies. You can also read this thread as well. I'll leave it in the description below. If we look at section 9, it says, now let's break down the RUNE formula. It is 3x what is deposited. So here's the example. If I deposit $1 into ThorChain, $3 will go to the market cap of RUNE. So let's put this into relation. If there's $1 billion worth of Bitcoin deposited into ThorChain, that will juice the market cap of ThorChain by $3 billion. Remember, the $100 ThorChain price, that's about a $20 billion market cap. So how many Bitcoin or Bitcoin dollar-wise do you have to have in there? About 7 billion, 6 billion, probably a little bit less because, I mean, there's other tokens involved. But in relative terms to the market cap of Bitcoin, it's less than 1%. It's like weak sauce, dude. Like, seriously, it's weak sauce. So now you guys are kind of understanding it a little bit. The formula is every $1 deposited, it makes $3 in market cap for RUNE. Now, let me just give you a small TLDR on why that is. If I deposit $1 into ThorChain, automatically on the other side, it has to be paired with $1. So $1 of RUNE. So that's your first dollar. Now the nodes securing the ThorChain ecosystem, like as in they secure the transactions, make sure they go through, they have to be 2x the value on the RUNE. So if I have $1 in asset value, they have to back it with $2. So they're always double. So now if we add that, $1 Bitcoin paired with $1 RUNE, here's our first dollar. Now they have to have $2. That's 1, 2, 3. $3 for every $1. You guys kind of see the equation? Okay, so now let's go to ThorChain now that you guys understand that. If you want to deposit into any of these pools, you can select any of them. You can do stablecoins, you can do BNB, ERC20, but there are things to note. There are little symbols called BEP2, BEP2, ERC20, BEP2, ERC20. Let me show you Litecoin. So this one will be like LTC. Where's Litecoin? What's Snap? Oh, native. See, native will mean it's the native asset. So if Litecoin and it's native, that means it's native Litecoin. BNB, it's native. It is not Binance Smart Chain, not BEP20. It's BEP2. There's two different ones. Like if you're on KuCoin or Binance or whatever exchange you're on and you're withdrawing it, you need to make sure it's BEP2. And dude, the transaction fees are cheap. So if you're when in doubt, just send like $1. If it shows up, woo! If it goes to an oblivion and is gone forever, just to be honest, all you got to do is upload your private keys that you had on your XD5 wallet onto a MetaMask. Go to Binance Smart Chain. It'll be over there. Don't worry. I got your back. Anyways, the next one is USDC, ERC20. This is on Ethereum chain. So this is going to have higher gas fees. And then you have BUSD, which is also BEP2. So in order to deposit into some of these pools, depending on which one you're depositing into, you need to have the certain tokens. So say, for example, I want to deposit some BUSD. Okay, so I'm going to click Add Liquidity. And I have a couple of options. If I got a huge bag of RUNE and I'm like, I'm just going to deposit some RUNE single-sided, you could do that. That's fine. It'll sell half your RUNE to BUSD and you'll just LP and call it a day. Or you can be like, bruh, I'm going to deposit some BUSD and some RUNE. Well, you need to have two gas fee things at that point. So you need to have RUNE and you need to have BNB for gas. Remember, this is a BEP2. So in your wallet, you need to create a XD5 wallet. When you create the XD5 wallet, you'll be gangbusters. Let me go ahead and connect my XD5 wallet so you can see what's up. All right, so we have our XD5 wallet connected. Let me show you a couple of really cool features with XD5 real quick. XD5 is a multi-chain wallet. So I'll have some RUNE, I'll have Matic, I'll have Avax, I have Bitcoin, I have BNB. I got all of it here. Keep in mind, this is on Binance Smart Chain. I need the BEP2 if I ever wanted to make transactions. Anyways, if you wanted to add different assets to this, you literally click a button. You can enter the contract address, or you can search through their top tokens. They got a huge list. Right now, my computer is like dying. I don't know why. I mean, well, I guess it's recording my face and it's recording the screen, doing all kinds of garbage. But when you do this, you'll be able to see the full list of tokens, and you can also select custom tokens in here. So you can say, I want to do BSC, I want to do Polygon, Terra, Avalanche. It'll allow you to do all of them. So it's kind of cool. It's really neat UI, UX. I actually really like the interface. I want to swap some Ethereum for some RUNE, whatever. I mean, I can do that. Like, well, actually that's pooling it. So let's do max. So at this point, I can just pool the maximum amount of Ethereum if I wanted to. My transaction fee is going to be $13 because the gas fees are kind of low right now. I'm recording this at night. So typically they're low at night. But as you can see here, I can just deposit Ethereum if I want to. Now, what's happening on the back end is right now, ThorChain is $7.32. That is going to be the number you need to keep in mind because you're going to plug this in over at Thor Yield. So say, for example, I do the ETH asset. So ETH RUNE, ETH is at 27.74. And let's say, for example, I think it's going to go to 3,500, like just because. And we're APY is 27, and we're going to do it for a duration of 12 months. Now, the amount of ETH that I deposit, well, let's just say 2 ETH to make it for even numbers. And let's say, for example, we do the ThorChain investment at $7.26, and we say ThorChain goes to $10. As you can see here, our performance versus a hodl is $2.3 thousand. So we'd be up 158%. So at this point in time, we would be better off LPing instead of just holding. Why is that? Well, because if we look here and I go to withdrawal, I will now get 2.66 ETH. This is at the end of the year if I LP'd the whole time, whatever. So yeah, I would be better off doing this because I basically got 1 free Ethereum or 0.66 free Ethereum for doing this. Because automatically what happened on the back end is they sold my RUNE or sold my ETH for RUNE. And as you guys can see, that's how it worked. So make sure you guys keep this little tab open so you guys can plug in some numbers and see what's up. So now let's go ahead and go back to the liquidity pair. Now, if we're adding liquidity into any of these pools, it'll show up here. So this is where you can add, withdraw, whatever. Keep in mind your liquidity here that you deposit, it's 100 days from the deposit. That's your impermanent loss protection. If you withdraw, if you deposit again within like 50 days, it resets the ticker. So it's 100 days from the last deposit. So if you're wanting to deposit more stables, not financial advice, but all you need to do is go to the swap feature. Say, for example, you got some BUSD and you already deposited and you're like, man, I don't want to reset my ticker. Just type in BUSD here. Well, actually, it's not going to show up because it's not my wallet. So I'll swap it down here. Boom. Yeah, I know the hacks. I know the tricks. I've been playing around with this too long. By the way, ThorChain, if you're watching this or any of the Thor chads, it'd be kind of cool if you can pick through any assets and the assets that are inside your wallet show up here first. So if you're watching this, if not, whatever. So yeah, BUSD, and then we'll just say some, man, I wish UST was here. UST is so much better, in my opinion, not financial advice. So what I can do is I can just say, hey, look, let me just swap out 10,000 of my, well, actually, I don't have any in my wallet, so I can't test it. But yeah, I would just swap out 10,000 of BUSD into 10,000 USDC, and boom, bang, done. Now I can take my USDC, go in these pools, and not reset my 100-day impermanent loss protection and deposit it into here. It's up to you what you want to do. Or you can take this arbitrage opportunity and see USDC is trading at $1.01. Import the USDC and swap for BUSD. You get a free %. So if you deposit $1 million, you basically get 10,000 bucks for free. Come on, can't beat that. Obviously there would be slippage for $1 million, but anyways, you guys get the point. So yeah, that's all you really need to do is when you deposit into these liquidity pools. Now, if I wanted to deposit Bitcoin, it's the same junk, different day. If I wanted to deposit Bitcoin in here, I can do single-sided Bitcoin or I can do single-sided RUNE. It's entirely up to you what you want to do. Or you can say, look, I'm going to be cool. I'm going to choose how much is being sold for RUNE, and I'm just going to deposit it that way and pay 2 gas fees. It's up to you if you want to do that, man. I don't like gas fees, so I just usually single side or get the BEP2. That's just what I do. Okay, to be honest, I did deposit some Ethereum like a year ago. So gas fees were super cheap then. That's when gas fees were like under $1. Yeah, they were under $1 then. It was cool. Anyways, so that is how you can use ThorChain. That's how you can LP. Now we need to go over a couple of other things. What are synths? All right, so synths, this is something you can get if you're wanting to have, let's say for example, you have some Bitcoin. Bitcoin would be, in my opinion, better than using something like Wrap Bitcoin because it's a decentralized company. Not company in that term, for lack of a better word, it's through a decentralized distributed network like ThorChain because they issue the synth. So 1 Bitcoin for 1 Bitcoin synth. It's a 1-to-1. Yes, there is a little bit of slippage, but you can also wait till they have the synth Bitcoin pools and you can probably arbitrage that in the future. As you can see here, you literally just come over here and you can mint. You can see there is, actually you can't see it because it won't do it. But 1 Bitcoin for 1 synth Bitcoin, there will be a tiny bit of slippage for the fees. So something to keep in mind. Obviously, the higher you go, the more the slippage. Why is that? Because if you go to the pools, you can see right now our liquidity is 67 million. So the higher this liquidity is, the less slippage there's going to be. If you want to know what's happening on the back end of these synths, when you deposit 1 Bitcoin, you're getting a synthetic Bitcoin. But on the back end, that Bitcoin is being deposited into these LP pools, and it's now becoming a yield-bearing asset. If you're holding the synth Bitcoin, you got no impermanent loss. But the other guy on the other side is going to have exposure to the RUNE upside, and yes, there's a chance for the downside. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, that's kind of like a general overview of ThorChain. Now, I know you're asking, like, what the snap? Like, this is cool and all, but who's paying for the impermanent loss protection? Well, this is where a couple of the different features on ThorChain come into play. Chad made a really good thread on it. I'll show it to you guys as well. Oh man, I'm sorry guys. Brightness, let's turn that down for you guys. All right, so let's read Chad's thread. He talks about these slip-based fees, and this is super important. So with slip-based fees, the more money you deposit or the more money you swap, the higher the fee you're going to pay. Because if there's only 60 million or 70 million in a Bitcoin liquidity pool and you try to swap $30 million worth of it, you're going to have a huge fee. Why did they do this? Well, the huge fee is going to the liquidity providers. So if there's not a lot in that pool, the fees are higher. But as there's more in the pool, the fees go down. So it's kind of like a, again, it's a slip-based fee. So it's going to be dynamic. It's going to fluctuate. So something to keep in mind as well. So this is helping to give cheaper fees to the shrimps and larger fees to the whales. That way it's fair for everyone. So now this is one of the income revenue sources for the impermanent loss protection. Now the second is, here is an example. Someone was like, okay, well, what if someone withdrew 100% of their position, like all of it? Well, right now, the network would need to pull out 105,866 RUNE from the reserve. The reserve has over 113 million RUNE in it. So in relation to that, that's less than 0.001%. Do you guys see that? Like, they can pay for it. They got cash. They could shell it out. And that's another thing to factor in. They were hacked like almost a year ago, and nobody lost money. Everyone was repaid. It's a $31 million hack, or about a little over 30 million. It was all repaid. So now let's say in theory RUNE goes to 0, or like really, really low. Well, this is the example of where they wouldn't be able to pay. That's if it went to the price of a quarter of a penny, which is down like 99.9999999%. So yeah, I mean, there is a chance. But anyways, there are risks in DeFi. That's why the yields are high. That's what you're getting paid for. And you can look at ThorChain by giving you a way higher upside and not a capped one, like using something like Anchor Protocol or AAVE, and still giving you a chance of that downside. So if you're using a protocol like this, let me go ahead and give you a couple of strategies you guys can play around with. And then I'll tell you where you can get some RUNE on DeFi protocols as well as CEXs, as in centralized exchanges. So here are a couple of strategies. Let's say, for example, you have $10,000. It's all in stablecoins, and you want to get a really, really good yield, but you don't want to lose all your money. Well, this is where tranches come into play. Take that $10,000, split it into 5 and 5. You can throw 5 at ThorChain. That way you get the chance of getting exposure to the upside. So let's say, for example, we're going to plug in some BUSD, and we're going to do 1-1. APY 79, 12-month duration, and we're going to deposit $5,000 into here. Now, let's say RUNE price doubles. Let's just say it doubles to $14. So we plug in the price of 14. What will happen is our $5,000 investment will now become $1,170. But wait, we still have that other $5,000. We're like, we're going to be safe. We're going to be cool. We're going to throw that in AAVE. So you throw it in AAVE, and AAVE earns you, let's say it earns you 5% this year. Well, now you're at $5,500. So let's get out our handy dandy notes. So we got AAVE, $5,500. RUNE, we got $1,170. Our initial invest was 10K. So we are in the green. We are up about 7K. Good job. You made about a 70% yield. Good for you, Johnny. Now, let's say, for example, we just threw it all in AAVE. Well, if we did all in AAVE, 5%, 10 Gs, we would be sitting at 10K. We would be sitting at 11K. After 1 year, 11K. Good for you. You made about 10%. Good job, Johnny. Actually, that was 10%. I'm sorry. I gave you too much, even with AAVE. That should have been 5,250. Instead of changing the numbers, we're just going to call AAVE 10% yield, just to be nice. So AAVE 5,500, RUNE 1170. So we basically, actually, no, I'm sorry, 11,700. Remember, we like doubled our money. Like, what the snap? Now, this is where tranches come into play. So now we say we throw it all into RUNE. So let's just say we throw it all into ThorChain, and it doubles. Well, now we turn that $10,000 into $23,000. So 10K to 23K. Now that's good. Awesome. That's great and all. So this one's about 17K and this one's 11K. So obviously you guys can see here the power of tranches. Sure, you didn't get the 23K down here, but you still got the 17K instead of the 11K. This is the power of a tranche. Now let's give the example if RUNE goes down to $3. So we're doing $7.26 to $3, 5,000. We still make $1,480. So let's put that in math terms to 6.48, and then we still have our AAVE yield, which is 5,500. We are now at about $12,000. So even going down, we still make, going down more than 50%, we still make more than we would on AAVE. That's the power of tranches. I just want you guys to see that. And now keep in mind, if it goes to like $1, I mean, dude, like that would make you lose 416 bucks. But you had the AAVE yield because you kept the safe yield, and you basically broke even. Actually, you still made $100 with AAVE. So that's how you guys can keep that in mind. Like, look, if this goes down like 85%, you still break even. That's what I'm trying to explain to people and show to people. This is the power of ThorChain. Not financial advice. I'm just showing you tranches, show you guys how you can use this and use it to your advantage. Now that you guys saw this, played around with it, you want to learn more about ThorChain, there's a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel. Just type in ThorChain on there or RUNE. It'll pull all up. Where can you buy this coin? I'll leave links in the description below. You can get this on KuCoin. You can get this on crypto.com. There are 2 affiliate links down there in the description below. The KuCoin one will actually give you discounted trading fees, and the crypto.com one will actually give you a $25 sign up bonus. So you can try both of them. Me personally, I like KuCoin better because the fees are way lower, but you guys can try crypto.com and get that $25 in Bitcoin or CRO for free. So why not? And then if you guys are in the DeFi space, you guys can also get this over on Secret Swap. The slippage is a lot higher, one. And two, well, dude, like you buy RUNE over there, IBC is not enabled on ThorChain. It's going to be idle and it's going to be stuck on Secret Swap. Now, obviously, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Dude, you can just get it on ThorChain. You can deposit Bitcoin over here and you can buy RUNE. Or you can deposit Litecoin and you can buy RUNE. Or you can do Ethereum or BNB and you can buy RUNE. You don't have to pay RUNE for the gas fee. Anyways, that's the different places you can get it. That's a little overview of ThorChain. Let me pull out the ADHD notes, make sure I went over everything. Explain Thor, the risks. Okay, so here are the risks. RUNE goes down in price. Like I showed you, even going down to 85% using the tranche strategy, where if you have $10,000 to invest, you throw 50% at it and you still would break even if it went down almost 85%. Next is hacks. There's a chance that it gets hacked again. Next is impermanent loss. There's such thing as that, especially if you're depositing RUNE, you can lose it on the upside. So something to keep in mind as well. So one other thing that I didn't mention that you should keep in mind is if the APYs do go down, and this is a case, because remember the flywheels, they work both ways. If RUNE is going down in price, your APYs are going to go down. And as more people are depositing, this will also dilute your yield. You can see here, if we go from $7 or 7.63 to $2, we will actually lose money at this point. We will lose 1.86K. But if you keep in mind doing the $5,000 tranche split up into two, this will help mitigate some of the risks and the losses. Because, I mean, obviously, worst case scenario, if RUNE goes to zero, our whole entire position is going to be gone. Like, everything will be zero. So, just that's something else to keep in mind. Now, other notes to keep in mind. The more people deposit, I know these APYs or APRs, you're thinking, these aren't sustainable. These are going to go to zero. Well, it's denominated in RUNE. So the more people deposit, the more RUNE's bought up. And when more RUNE is bought up, it juices the price of RUNE, which also juices the APYs and APRs. So higher APRs, higher APYs, brings more people over. When more people come, juices the price of RUNE. Higher APRs, higher APYs. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. You guys get the flywheel. Okay. Those are a couple things I want to point out to you guys. I know this is a super long video, but remember, flywheels go both ways. So there is a chance that the flywheel goes down. One thing important to remember, though, is when that flywheel is spinning one way, it's much harder to get it to stop and go back the other way. Just don't be in the way when it does. Keep that in mind. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Let's go and leave you guys with a wisdom one-liner. Hey, Doe, if you're watching this, the strategy is burn your Luna, buy or to mint UST, use the UST to buy Bitcoin, then deposit Bitcoin into ThorChain to juice the price of RUNE, and then take that RUNE to buy more Luna, and then repeat the process. I think you can do it. Proverbs chapter 17, verses 8. A bribe is seen as a charm by one who gives it. They think success will come at every turn. Maybe, maybe not. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you in the next one. I'll leave the links in the description below. Also, guys, if you want to jump in the Discord, there's a link in the description below. It's the Patreon link. Just make sure you do the VIP tier. You'll see different strategies I'm doing in the market, private videos I don't even show on YouTube, and you can chat with a bunch of other DeFi degens just like you. Thanks for tuning in. Luna, pump the price. UST, buy Bitcoin, pump the price. Ba 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 bum. Ba bum. Ba bum. So that's the flywheel right there. You guys can also catch me on tweeters at rent a home fast, like literally at rent a home fast.